Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 1-971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak. Again, pressing *6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. All right, well, welcome everyone, and we will start out with the Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Bell.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I'm not sure if Commissioner Fournier is with us today, so let's give it a shot. Commissioner Fournier. I believe he is out of the area, not with us this morning. So my apologies for not being aware of that. I was out of the office yesterday for a meeting all day in Salem. Okay, so we will go ahead and jump into our call. Typically, that would be Adventist Health Tillamook, but they are also not with us this morning. So Senator Weber, I know, is with us. So Senator, would you like to kick us off this morning?
Absolutely. Good morning.
Good morning.
Still recovering from daylight savings time. I wonder if this is an argument that any group will ultimately be able to resolve. I can say that being in the legislature, I think we have debated this issue no less than 4 times, and we have still not come to any kind of a resolution. So daylight savings time is still with us. I also wanted to tell you that I was in Washington County last week on Thursday for a half-day housing forum. And housing is the number one issue that we are all dealing with. And so it was really interesting to see how Washington County is working through a lot of the issues, the same issues that we in Tillamook County are working through, and how they are addressing them. And I'm not going to go into any of them right here, but, you know, we all have the same issues, planning, permits, rent, all of these things are impacting what we can build, how we can build it, and everyone is struggling with all of these issues, just as we are. Then we had a briefing from the governor's staff on by the chief financial officer for the state, and an update on the current info on the federal government impacts and what will likely be decided with the governor's pledge and the emergency declaration for the $5 million, and hoping that going forward, somebody will have a moment of clarity and decide that we need to get that budget passed and open up our government again. Yesterday, I was
Did you take your mouse
at Camp Rylea for the Clatsop Plains Elk Collaborative meeting, very well attended. And it was kind of interesting because when I got to Tolvana, the whole bunch was out there alongside of the highway having lunch. And it was quite an impressive herd of elk. But since that collaborative has taken so many issues into consideration and worked with, especially tagging, collaring the elk to be able to monitor where they go, and the decrease in the population and the decrease in the number of automobile accidents related to the elk. They have not been meeting on a regular basis in the last couple of years, but they have committed to once again examining the data as it comes forward from state police, from ODF, to see if further action is going to be taken at any particular time. This week I get to go visit Pacific Northwest Metal Recycling in St. Helens to see how that facility is operating. And I will also have a meeting in Astoria with the Farm Bureau, their yearly meeting, and a groundbreaking for a housing project in Seaside. So I'm keeping busy, plus all the things that happen within our community. And I really want to, once again, give credit to FFA and all that they are doing in our community, how strong they are, and the national recognition that our students are getting also. So that's going to conclude my report for today. I know I got more to say because I could talk for a long, long time, but I'll quit now.
There is always more today to say, Senator. I think that's the trick, right? Always more to say. And I know our community really appreciates hearing from you and from Representative Javity when he's with us, because there is a lot to say. And I think you're being with us on a regular basis just keeps our community updated. So appreciate that. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. And does anyone have any questions? I'm always willing to answer whatever you have. And the other thing I want to point out is people meet me on the street with concerns that are county concerns and city concerns. And please know that I will do my best to help you or to direct you to the correct people to get your questions answered. So don't hesitate to ask. I can help you.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate that. I think that one of the things that's challenging just for any resident is sometimes to know who does what in our government structure. There are obviously the layers you just mentioned with city and county and state. And then, of course, in our county, we have many special districts that also cover what people think of as government services, such as fire response or water, sewer, those kind of things in some of our communities. So please don't ever hesitate, anyone who's listening, to ask any of us. And we're happy to direct you to the right space for your area of concern, because it is confusing. It's taken me a number of years in this job to understand everything that works and how it works. Okay, absent any questions for the senator, I do not see the representative this morning, so we will keep moving on. And it looks like Tillamook County Community Health Center is our next presenter. So Camille, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. As we kick off November, it is American Diabetes Month, which is a time to learn about the risks and causes of diabetes, find resources to help prevent and manage diabetes, and share stories about the impact. In 2023, an estimated 8% of Tillamook County adults had type 2 diabetes. In addition, the CDC reports that 1 in 3 U.S. adults have prediabetes, a condition of elevated blood sugars, and yet many don't know they have it. If you think you or someone you know might be at risk for diabetes, now is a great time to learn about the disease, the risk factors, and prevention strategies. You can go to doihaveprediabetes.org to take a free, quick, and easy risk test. There's still time to stop by our Main Street Clinic location on Mondays and Wednesdays to get your COVID-19 and flu vaccinations, as well as the pneumonia vaccine if you're over age 65. The walk-in clinics will run through Wednesday, November 24th. Please visit our Facebook page at Tillamook CHC for more information for our hours and location. And finally, next Tuesday, November 11th, is Veterans Day, and our offices and clinics will be closed in honor of this important holiday. And we want to express our deepest gratitude to all veterans for their service. That is all I have today.
Thank you, Camille. Any questions for Camille this morning? All right, not hearing any, we will move on to Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail Nelson, good morning.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Just a few announcements this morning from Wheeler. First of all, our dental services. I have an update. Currently we're offering a limited number of self-pay appointments. As we gradually launch dental services here in our new space, we'll soon be welcoming patients with dental insurance as well. We're getting those systems set up, and finalized. So that's a bit of good news. We're very excited about that. Next is a reminder, if you need a ride to your appointment here, we can help. And here's how it works. When you call to schedule your appointment, simply let the scheduler know you need a ride, and we'll take care of the rest. Our transport van and driver, his name is Gil, and he's here, and we're all here to make sure you get to and from your visits safely and on time. And let's see, one more. We are pleased to announce that community members, staff, and providers gathered outside our new building to plant our first phase of our very own herb garden. So that is here, and when you come, you can see it. It's outside. And a huge thank you to Nehalem Bay Garden Club and the Health District and our friends at Alder Creek Farm for helping this project get off the ground. So that's it for me today, unless there's questions.
Thank you, Gail. Any questions for Gail? Okay, not hearing any. We thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is the first Tuesday, not Monday, the first Tuesday of the month, and we typically have the sheriff's office with us, but Sheriff Josh Brown let me know he was not going to be available, and it doesn't look, he was hoping the undersheriff might make it, but I think, as we all know, we are not the we're not the priority on that one. Oh, did I just jump over to Tillamook Family Counseling Center? I did. Sorry. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Commissioner.
I'm just gonna
This
hold
is
me
Frank
to account.
Cannalingham, the director. Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, and no major update today. Just to say that if you have questions about any of our services and interested in making an appointment or any other questions, please give us a call at 503-842-8201. And you can also call on our toll-free line, which is 1-800-962-2851. And that's pretty much it. And if there are any questions, I can answer them.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions for Frank? Okay, not hearing any. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. And as I was saying, I don't think we have the sheriff's office. I wanted to make sure I hadn't missed the undersheriff, but I've not. So we will go ahead and move on to emergency management. Randy Thorpe, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Scarf. To follow up a little bit on the Great Oregon Shakeout, Commissioner Bell was asking if I would have some more exact numbers, and we do. And the good news is that total participants countywide was 3,921, which is quite a bit more than what we had last year. So the participation in the shakeout and the move out with the evacuation to your nearest tsunami assembly point was quite successful. But the big winner were the school districts this year. Connie had nearly 500, Nestucca had nearly 400, and the big winner was Tillamook School District with a total of 2,300 individuals that participated. So we really appreciate the participation throughout the county. We had a lot of businesses, a lot of other state and county offices that participated. So I think that's going to be a hard number to beat next year, but we are definitely going to try to get the word out and get even more participants next year, because this is something we need to do every year. We don't have to just do it once in a lifetime. So we want to make sure that we have this excellent type of an exercise every year. And on the other front, we are definitely in the rainy season for Tillamook County. And the famous king tides are due to arrive on the 5th, which is tomorrow. And they'll run for a couple of days. And because of this, we could see some minor tidal overflow, basically some flooding of the lowlands around the bay and the ocean around high tide, because that's the king tides will emphasize and raise our normal tides up by by at least a foot above what they normally are. So just be aware of that. And because of the king tides, we have a lot of people like to go down, take pictures and wander out there, and just be very smart and careful as you go down to enjoy the king tides, that they are very dangerous and they are sometimes unexpected on how large they will become. So just keep that in mind. And luckily, unlike Saturday, where we got 3 inches in 24 hours of rain, this week they're looking at only getting around an inch of rain, starting Wednesday and then on Thursday. So we're scattering that rain out a little bit. So they're predicting that our rivers will not reach flood stage, but there's always that chance. And they have said that there's like a 20% chance that the Wilson River could rise above its banks and overflow. So just keep an eye out if you happen to be recreating on those rivers. And if you live in the floodplain of those rivers, just keep an eye out and be prepared to take action if needed. So with that, I'll turn it back to Commissioner Scar.
All right, thank you, Randy. Can you remind people where they find the river forecast in case they are maybe new to the area or just haven't followed the rivers previously? I know they moved that data and it's a little trickier to find in the way I look at it.
Okay. What you do is that the best way to do it, this is how I find it every time without having to try to memorize anything, is that I Google Wilson River water levels. And all the things there, you'll see the link that takes you to the NOAA website that will have all the different river gauges. And if you are looking at a different river gauge, just put in the name of the river and you're looking for the river levels. And that's, to me, the easiest way to go. Because like I say, they move them around a little bit and they're a little bit different on how they're looking right now. But that's very good. But if you want a website, it's www.water.noaa.gov/gauges. But like I say, the best bet is to just Google that Tillamook River or Nestucca River or Trask River.
Perfect, thank you. I appreciate that. And the other thing I will just say, after a life of living on the Trask River for over 20 years, that those are really important to watch if you are near or planning to be near a river. The other thing is they follow the weather. So it's interesting. There's a delay between when we get like a watch or a warning for heavy rain and how long it takes the river forecasting people to catch up to that. And I remember we had a call a couple years ago with the NOAA folks, I think, or maybe it was at the winter weather thing a couple years ago. We were talking with them about how come the rivers are, they look fine, then, boom, suddenly they're headed to flood stage. And they said, basically, the weather forecasters have to do their work first, and then the river folks integrate that into their forecast. So there's a little bit of a delay sometimes. So if you see a watch or a warning or have a concern about the amount of rain that's coming, once the weather forecast is updated within a couple hours, you'll see those rivers. So for me, I just watch them a lot when we're having heavy storms, because they do change rapidly and the forecasts on them also end up changing rapidly with that being the case. Okay, any questions for Randy? Yes, please.
Thank you. I appreciate the river gauge conversation because they are very helpful. I agree completely. And when I have lived directly on rivers and wanted to track them, the gauges and even if there's a delay, they are adjusting very regularly, and it'll be surprising, because very often the rain that's falling is in the Coast Range and we're not seeing it yet, and so we don't know what's coming, but the gauges will show us, oh my gosh, this is rapidly increasing. So So I agree, those are very helpful. And once you find them, it's helpful to bookmark them so that you can just go directly there, because for some reason the location does move around. And I wanted to ask Randy, a couple of people have asked me about the coastal flood advisories we've been getting from Tillamook County through Nixle, I believe. We've been getting them for a couple days now. And so I'm assuming that's related to king tides, but I said I would ask you.
Yes, it is. That's mainly what forces it into that coastal flooding. What that is just it's the low-lying areas, and we have a few of those around. We up in Nehalem, usually some coastal floodings. The Nehalem River comes up there in downtown and floods a little bit there. The Fraser Road here just south of Tillamook also is a low-lying area that gets flooded when we have high tides and king tides. So that's basically what they're looking at, is they couple that because the king tides, do raise our normal tide level up pretty high, which basically pushes the water back up into the rivers and the sloughs. And so the rain that's coming down has nowhere to go because it's pushing up against high tides, and that's why we get that coastal flooding. So yes, it's definitely tied to the king tides.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. Good conversation. And everybody just get ready. It's gonna get wet. Okay, it is the first Tuesday of the month, so we do have the Oregon Department of Transportation, Mr. Bill Jablonski, with us this morning. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Commissioner Scar. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Great. Thank you so
Excellent.
much. Again, Bill Jablonski, the ODOT Area Manager. Always a pleasure to call in every month and update the county on what's going on with our roads. I will update everyone saying we had a very successful winter operations meeting last month on the 23rd. Our district office here hosts, we've been doing for many years, we host all of our first responders, public works folks, those who have roadway needs as well too from local cities and counties. So Washington, Columbia, Tillamook, and Clatsop County are all present. It was really great to see a good folks of people there. We also share our what we consider our levels of service, and I'll report out that we're not expected to see a reduction in level of service for the Tillamook County area on state highways, so that's good news to everyone. I will let everyone know also that at the start of the first threat of ice and snow is when we'll see our ODOT crew in Tillamook go on a 24/7 schedule. So up till that point, they're getting their plows ready, getting those shoes on, those blades, and making all preparations and ready to go for that first threat of ice and snow. A couple of problem areas I can report on some fixes on. If you've been a frequent traveler on Oregon 22 at mile point 8, it's called Alder Creek. We've had a problem with water overtopping the highway, given the disconnection of a pipe that was adjacent to our highway, also some beaver activity kind of backing up water as well too. We just completed the connection for that pipe that's adjacent to the highway, so the water is now running under the road, which we like to see you do that. So we're going to be monitoring, of course, over the winter months as well too, but for now it looks like we've kind of gotten away from that problem of that water on the surface of the road there on Oregon 22 if you travel that route. Another problem area that we have heard about, many of you might be familiar with, is at Oregon 6 and US 101 at the north end of the couplet. It's very confusing from what we've heard from folks about how you actually maneuver at that intersection on the through going westbound and also to the left if you're going to go south on 101. So we finally convinced our ODOT traffic folks in Salem to provide us a fix for that. So this spring we'll be seeing some restriping and some repositioning of some signal heads that will allow for better flow through that intersection, especially those coming on Oregon 6 westbound to that intersection. So please look for those improvements here when the weather turns in the springtime and we're able to get out there and take care of that. Let's see. Oh, one last thing I want to bring up is at the Northwest ACT meeting last month, Commissioner Fournier brought up the fact that he's a big advocate of Oregon 6 and the repairs. And we know that it's, quite a bit of a steep curve, at least hundreds of millions of dollars for the big fix for the slide area there in Oregon 6. And what Commissioner Fournier brought up is, why can't we be proactive and have a detour in place? Because we know that it's not a matter of if, it's when Oregon 6 actually fails. So I've committed to stand up that challenge that I received from Commissioner Fournier. I'm going to get together, so first off with him and also Tillamook County Public Works, and get together and start looking at some concepts about what a detour route might look like in the event that Oregon 6 is not usable. We'll get together, this initially, the three of us, Chris Lady, myself, and Commissioner Fournier, see who else we need to kind of bring to the table. We don't have any money for this as far as what improvements and stuff we might look at, but I think it's a great idea to get together and see what route we could actually have on state versus county facility to see how we can facilitate some kind of a detour in the event that it's needed. And with that, Commissioner Scar, I will pause for questions, and that concludes my report.
Wonderful, thank you. Any questions for Bill this morning?
I don't have a question. Good morning, Bill. This is Mary Faith. I don't have a question, but I'm encouraged that we're going to be looking for an alternate route for over 6. That's very encouraging. So thanks for stepping up for that work, even though it's unfunded at this point. And I wanted to offer my thanks for the bridges, the new bridges on Miami Foley that the state created over the summer. They're finally done, and it's just, they're very, very nice. It's a pleasure to drive through there. They're safe and they look great. I'm sure they meet the requirements for fish passage, and so much better for people who live on that road, and also people who live beyond that road like me, who use it daily. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Commissioner Bell.
May I
Great.
interject?
Oh, Senator, please.
Yes. Bill, when you convene that work group, I would like to be involved in it.
Oh, you bet, Senator
Seeing
Weber,
as
no
how
problem.
I've now got, 3 committee assignments regarding transportation. Thank you.
You bet. We'll send you an invite.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, I would also share my thanks for the willingness of everyone to jump into that Highway 6 conversation in the absence of funding, in the absence of clarity, to create some form of planning going forward. I think the more we can do now, the better off we will be when that inevitable occurs. I also would like to thank you for pushing hard on working how we can make some improvements to the intersection right there at 101 and 6. I have had many times, as I know lots of people have here, where someone thinks they're going to go straight in what is a turn lane and causing many near accidents. So I really do appreciate the willingness again to push hard to say, hey, now that it's on the ground, it doesn't work the way it did on paper, and it needs some signage and striping adjustments. So thank you for that.
Oh, sure. You're welcome.
Okay, with that, if there are no other questions for ODOT, we're going to go ahead and move on to our Board of Commissioners, and I'll ask Commissioner Bell to start us off.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to go back to King Tides just for a minute. This morning I saw a short video that was put out by Oregon Coast Connections, and it was showing a dangerous beach. It was at Hug Point, and it was a really good illustration. Then it had big bold lettering, "Don't do this. Don't be a statistic," which is great, because every year, or nearly every year, somebody dies on the Oregon coast, and people just don't realize the power of sneaker waves and the power of king tides. So, I'm probably preaching to the choir to all local people, but it's a good reminder that we shouldn't be out on the jetty points, and we really shouldn't be on steep trails or on beaches where if a huge wave slams into you, you're just going to get knocked into the rocks and dragged back out into the surf. It's just not, it's a cool thing to watch, but maybe watch it with a drone. Just don't go close, because it's a heartbreak every year when somebody dies, and then And then people talk about how do we prevent this? And I think a good way to prevent it is to remind people it's not safe. The other thing I wanted to mention, we've been talking about this for weeks, but it's here now, is hunger in Oregon and hunger in our community. So this week, officially, people are not receiving SNAP benefits. The president has indicated that he will release half payments, but then also that was followed up with, but it could take months to get that going. So that's a promise down the road that hopefully will come. But for now, people in our community, and there are a lot of people in our community who are not receiving benefits. And for some families, that means they don't have any money for food. And there are long lines at food banks, and food banks are also short on their supplies because their federal funding has been drastically reduced. So it's really time for our communities to step up. We've talked about this before. Commissioner Scar has shared the importance of just, if you can just donate money to the Oregon Food Bank or Oregon Food Bank Tillamook, that's great because they distribute to local food banks and also to local food kitchens. And there are other ways to do it too. There are community food banks, that where you can distribute goods, and church groups are coming together. I see all kinds of wonderful things happening on Facebook where somebody posts, "My family is hungry," and 20 or 30 people say, "I have something, I have something for you." And so we really need to be doing that. It should be top of mind for all of us, but through the month, and maybe beyond that, because here comes Thanksgiving and here comes Christmas, and people might not have stuff to eat up until those holidays. So we're really in an emergency situation now. And we got a very encouraging email yesterday from the Oregon Department of Resilience and Emergency Management saying that the governor is directing some funds to food banks and talking about how that'll be distributed. So thank God the government, the governor, the state is stepping up to do something, even though the state's in a huge budget deficit also. And for the county, we're going to get stuff posted, like resources posted online, just to tell people here are the places you can go. And because there are people who will be hungry this month who've never been in that position before. They receive SNAP benefits, they take care of their families with them, and they've never been desperate in that sense before, and they won't even necessarily know where to go. So, and we're going to start a food drive at the courthouse and encourage our off-site departments to do it also. So if you have business in the courthouse, please bring some food, drop it off at the courthouse. We'll get it to the food bank for you. So I encourage other businesses to do that. Any place that I've seen restaurants stepping up saying, come show us your SNAP card and we'll give you a meal. That's beautiful to me. And as a county, we accomplish amazing things together. And I really hope that this is one of those situations that we can look on with pride and say, we made sure nobody in our county was hungry. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. It's a really important conversation for us all to share in. And yeah, there are a couple of different restaurants I've seen on Facebook that are saying, come in and one, I think it was Grumpy's in Rockaway, that people were doing that pay it forward piece where people were going in and paying for meal and someone in need could then go and receive a meal. The YMCA at the bowling alley has an effort going on, and these are just the two that I saw. So there are many. So if you were a business out there thinking, how can I help? That's a great opportunity, a great way to do it. The other thing is, as Commissioner Bell mentioned, there is some money coming at the state level. I did connect with our local regional food bank, which is run by Oregon Food Bank, and just confirmed, with them that we stand ready to help however we can as that comes through to get it distributed. I was on a board meeting yesterday for Northwest Senior and Disability Services, which serves our senior and disabled populations here in Tillamook County. They will be increasing the number of Meals on Wheels meals that are available. So if you are aware of a senior or someone who lives with a disability that is in need of food, Senior and Disability Services will be providing more of that. They also have shelf-stable meals in their offices, again, for the folks that they serve. So there are a number of efforts that are being ramped up across the state through different agencies to try to add to our food system supply. But as Commissioner Bell said, it's unlikely to be enough. There are, I believe, 5,000 people in Tillamook County that are currently recipients of SNAP. That's a number that came from Representative Javity a couple of weeks ago as he was talking about this. So about 5,000 people in our community, many of those, the majority of those are children. And that's true across the state. So it's really, really important that we step up as a community. We're going to be going into the holidays, as Commissioner Bell indicated, but the second difficult thing about the holidays is that children who receive free or reduced breakfast and lunch in their school setting will not have that. So for most of our schools, there's a long break at Thanksgiving and a much longer break at Christmas. And we want to make sure that the children in our community are not going hungry during those break periods because they won't have their typical meals at school. So if you are able to participate, able to donate, find your local food bank. If you're not sure where that is, go to the Oregon Food Bank website and click on the Food Finder link. You can put in your zip code and it will tell you the food bank closest to you, the food pantry or meal site, which gives you an opportunity if purchasing and donating locally is important to you. There's a way to do that. Otherwise, you can make a cash donation through Oregon Food Bank, which gets ultimately buys food, which is also distributed to those same locations. So there's a number of ways you can get involved. The other interesting conversation I had yesterday was a reminder that for our grocery stores, there is an economic challenge that comes with the lack of SNAP benefits because these are people who take those and spend them. They spend them in our local stores. So if you are thinking, hey, I do want to buy food, think about the grocery near you that may struggle because those families and individuals who typically go in and use their SNAP benefit there will not be able to do that. And that grocery store will see a downturn. So shop locally, help everybody out. We'll get through this as a community because that's what we do in Tillamook County. We take care of each other, but just keep it on the top of mind. It's really important right now. A couple other things I'll just hit on real quick. We had our land use hearing last Wednesday and directed community development to bring forward approval language for us for the middle housing codes for Oceanside, which is really exciting. We're then just down to, I think, one more community that we need to finish those in, which is Neocani, and that will come before us in early December. So we've almost got our middle housing codes updated per Senate Bill 406, which is really exciting. There also were a couple of other issues that Oceanside community members wanted our planning to look at. And so we have directed our planning director to craft some really good best practice solutions to those concerns and bring them back as well. So thanks to the Oceanside community for their participation, and thanks to Sarah Absher as our director in bringing things forward and helping us move forward as a community together to come up with solutions that hopefully provide what people are looking for in that. The other board meeting I attended this last week was the State Forest Trust of Oregon, which I've talked a little bit about. It is a foundation that stands alongside the Oregon Department of Forestry's Recreation, Education, and Interpretation Department, which is the department that runs the Forest Center, takes care of trails, campgrounds, etc. in the state forest. And we're looking forward to another great year of raising funds to support those facilities, which is really important for Tillamook County. The tourism that comes through our forest is a really important part of what people identify with in Tillamook County. So I'm happy to be a part of that board and happy to be working to support those facilities across the forest. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end my report and we'll move us on to the city of Manzanita. Good morning, Mayor Starr.
Good morning, Commissioner Scar. Just a couple of things here this morning. Halloween already seems like a very long time ago, but I do want to thank all of our local businesses on Lanita Avenue who participated in another really great trick-or-treating event for the kids. And of course, we had rain. And of course, everybody is pretty resilient about that here. So the fun went on, and the businesses, many of which really get into it and have a good time, really had a nice time. And I want to just thank everybody for their participation in that. We've got a council meeting tomorrow night, and I'm looking forward, as I always am, to getting some good work done with the council and with the community. We're going to be talking about the upcoming off-season tourism grant and sponsorship cycle. This is something that's been in place for quite a while, and Nan Devlin will be coming and we'll be talking about the process, which has been shifted a little bit, I think, from last season and improved. So looking forward to hearing about that, and really want to get the word out to local businesses or organizations that there will be money available for these grants and sponsorships, and that there is help available if you're unsure about how to do an application or you've never really done this before. So we'll be going through all that tomorrow evening. We're also going to be reviewing and getting comment on the vision statement for our community as a part of our comprehensive planning process. This will include work that's been going on for well over 2 years now. This combination of meetings with people specifically for this purpose, other listening sessions that we've had, many online surveys for which we've had a really good, really high participation rate. So that's all come together as a vision statement, and council will be reviewing that and again, taking comment or feedback from the public. And then we'll also be again going through an update on our Classic Street project, which is our capital project that I've talked about just about every week, I think, for the last several months. So that's good. We've got some updates for the community, and council will be looking at that. And then we're also going to be getting an update on capital projects that our Public Works Director, Rick Remfer, will be giving. So get a view for the council and for the community of some of the more behind the scenes work that's going on with capital planning, which really translates as improvements to infrastructure that ultimately all of us use here. So that'll be great. And that's it from Manzanita.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the mayor? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to Mayor McNeely in Rockaway Beach.
Good morning, Tillamook County. I want to begin by thanking our county commissioners for their thoughtful and responsive answers to my many questions and comments. I want you all to know that we really do appreciate the partnership with our county and our county commissioners. So thank you for that. Moving on, our 24-hour, 7 days per week short-term rental complaint hotline is now live. The hotline supports community compliance by making it easy for residents to report STRs that may not be following the rules. By monitoring together, we help the city of Rockaway Beach ensure fairness, protect neighborhood integrity, and keep our community safe, respectful, and welcoming for everyone. Residents can call or fill out an online form on our city website that are both answered and monitored 24/7. Rockaway Beach contracted with a third party who specializes in short-term rental compliance to provide the hotline and reporting. The owner local agent will be contacted and is required to rectify the situation within 30 minutes. If the situation is not rectified within 30 minutes, the property owner is subject to a civil penalty of up to $500 per violation, with each day of a continuing violation constituting a separate violation. The third violation within a consecutive 12-month period shall result in a revocation of the short-term rental license for 12 months, after which time the owner may reapply for a new license by going to the back of the line. To learn more about the complaint hotline, read the FAQ on our city website. Our quarterly emergency preparedness meeting will be held this Wednesday, November 5th at 6 p.m. in the City Council room downstairs at City Hall. We have guest speakers from Oregon Office of Resiliency and Emergency Management. They'll be showing a 1-hour documentary titled Rumblings, which is a look at the potential of the Cascadia event. Following the documentary, they'll answer questions on how to prepare for the event. It's a great opportunity to get informed and get advice from the experts. The League of Oregon Cities North Coast Region 1 Small Cities Meeting is this coming Friday, November 7th at the Rockaway Beach City Hall. LUGA is back in our life. Nadana Development LLC submitted a notice of intent to appeal, remand 25-1 to the Land Use Board of Appeals. This initiates a 21-day period for record preparation, which Planner Tapia will manage. Staff and attorneys will continue to monitor this appeal process, and updates will be provided. Interestingly, the property is currently listed for sale. As we enter the fall season, this is the time of year when Public Works shifts its focus to preparing for winter weather and ensuring the city's infrastructure is ready for the challenges ahead. Storm preparation was completed, including brush cutting and culvert checks and clearing. City crews addressed drainage at Rock Creek and Lake Lytle. Generators across the city were tested and found to be operational. Ditch maintenance continues. And we did have a project that we coordinated with the Scenic Railroad, which helped remove an uneven road surface over the railroad crossing at North 3rd and North 13th. This week, the fire department submitted the final documentation to ISO for re-rating. The ISO representative will review the data and total points. A response is expected by the end of December. Due to the addition of a new ladder truck, full-time fire department staffing, and water system upgrades, a higher score than the previous rating is anticipated. An improved score may result in lower homeowner insurance requirements for Rockaway. Last week, October 31st, was the last day for our seasonal staff. The department has had an extremely busy summer season. We want to extend our deepest thanks and sincere appreciation to our summer staff for their outstanding dedication, positive attitude, and tireless efforts in meeting the increased demands of the season. And then last, the Department of Land Conservation and Development sent an email about the National Flood Insurance Program. Due to the federal shutdown, the National Flood Insurance Program lapsed on September 30th, 2025. As a result, homeowners are unable to purchase new NFIP flood insurance policies or renew existing ones. With that, back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. And I was not aware the NFIP lapsed. So we all learn things on this call every day. So appreciate that. And yeah, I'm gonna dig into that one a little bit, see what other impacts there are that maybe we should all be aware of other than the inability to issue new policies. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to the city of Bay City, and I believe we have Mayor Leanne Welch with us.
Good morning, Commissioner Scar. Thank you very much. In addition to what others are doing in the county, Bay City has met with the Oregon Food Bank there on Wilson River Loop. And so we have food barrels at the Bay City Library, Bay City City Hall, and the Bay City Post Office. So those are for non-perishable items. So please, if you're in our community or if you're driving through and you have food, go ahead and put those in those food barrels as part of our solution for our community. I'd also like to thank the Bay City volunteer firefighters. They put on a successful haunted house on Halloween, and with the Bay City Boosters who did the City Hall, decorated that, and the Bay City Emergency Volunteers, we all came together and had a really fun Halloween in Bay City. I'd also like to talk about winter preparedness. So again, we have these storms coming in. Randy Thorpe talked about them in the winter. So again, I encourage people to get prepared for winter power outages with your flashlights and your radios. So please get prepared for the winter. And in honor of Veterans Day this year, City Hall will be closed. So our next City Council meeting will be Tuesday, November 18th at 6 p.m. And that's my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to the city of Tillamook, and we have City Manager Lewis with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be back with everybody. The downside of going last on this call, Commissioners, everybody's already said everything I was going to say. So we appreciate our business community that did our trick-or-treating downtown. Fun was had by all. We appreciate our Public Works Department for getting out and preparing Tillamook City for winter, especially for the king tides and the emergency weather. We've been checking our ditches and our levees and such. So just getting out and making sure that we're as prepared as we can be. We still have 2 open city council positions that are open until filled. I know it doesn't make a huge difference in Tillamook County today, but today is election day. It's the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November across the country. And so a good time to remember to go make sure your voter registration is updated, even though we don't have a ton of stuff or anything on our ballots here in the county as far as I'm aware. But get your registration updated, make sure that you can exercise your right to vote. And then just have a happy week, everybody.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for talking about Election Day, because I think it is important to remind people you will be seeing lots of things about election coverage in other states and other areas, and that Tillamook County did not have anything on the ballot this time. I saw a couple of really good conversations on Facebook where people were saying, why is the news talking about elections? I didn't get a ballot. So I appreciate that clarity. Again, we just all have something to add. So appreciate you being with us this morning. Okay.
Commissioner, before you close.
Yes, please.
It just occurred to me that we haven't talked about this call next week, which is Veterans Day.
Oh, good point. Nor have I talked with staff here about it, but Veterans Day is an observed holiday for the county. So I would expect we will not have this call next week, as it's likely an observed holiday for many, or if not all, folks on this call this morning. So county offices will also be closed in observance of Veterans Day, which we also did not talk about on this call, but I'm sure will be on our announcements for our meeting tomorrow. So thank you for that, Commissioner Bell.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. Again, we all have something to share that, we all need to know on this call. All right. With that, I think we have completed our agenda and our time together today. So I would like to thank KTIL for broadcasting, everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great day.